So one of the big things in the last couple of weeks in the UK has been the change in monetary policy expectations. Previously, most financial market participants expected interest rates to go up in May as the Bank of England began its process of normalising interest rate policy. But the recent economic data, particularly around growth, has come in weaker than expected, and this has forced a reassessment. So now, expectations are that we won't see an interest rate hike this month, as the Bank of England wrestles with this dilemma that it's faced for a while, which is wanting to normalise monetary policy after a period of very low rates, but still facing relatively sluggish economic growth. Three things caught our attention in April. The first was around US government bond yields, where we saw the US 10-year move towards and then briefly above the 3% level. That has caused some concern amongst market participants that it might trigger a sell-off in broader financial markets. So far, we haven't really seen any evidence of that. The second is around European growth. Remember, in 2017, European economic growth, broadly speaking, came in better than people had expected. In 2018, however, growth is still decent, but the results that we've seen have been a little bit weaker than maybe most people had thought. And we see that in some of the economic surprise indicators that we track. And that perhaps ties into the third point, which is around earnings. We're in the middle of the first quarter earnings season, and what we've seen is some relatively decent results from US corporates, but perhaps slightly weaker performance from other regions. It's too soon to say whether this is the start of a broader trend, but it's certainly something to keep an eye on. So overall, we're quite happy with how the portfolios are positioned at the moment. We don't have a lot of interest rate risk because we expect rates to begin to normalise over time. From an equity perspective, we've seen some decent growth out of the US, maybe some pockets of weakness elsewhere, but nothing to get terribly concerned about at this point. So there are a few areas for us to monitor, but overall we're happy where we are.